The engine is slap full of Nestle chocolate milk. Don't you guys love it when stuff is harder than what it has to be? Today we are working on a 2017-ish Explorer. This one's a little interesting. It has a 3.5 twin turbo, not a naturally aspirated, but it's pretty much the same 3.5 as a naturally aspirated. It just has two turbos. And what makes this thing so interesting is what I'm holding in my hand. This is the water pump, guys. If you didn't know, the trucks have the same similar 3.5 in them, but they have an externally mounted water pump that's driven off the belt. On the Explorers, Tauruses, Edges, anything that has a front wheel drive 3.5, the water pump is actually driven off of the timing chain. It sits back in here. You see our, this is where our chain rides and spins this thing. So, yeah, I don't know if you guys have ever done a water pump change or anything, but this one here is not the easiest by far. It pays about 12, 13 hours to do this water pump. You do have to remove the entire front cover. It's a pretty good job. Really what makes this water pump so bad is this wheat pole. It goes like this, and here's our wheat pole. So you see we got a hole right here, and what happens is when this bearing goes bad and allows fluid to leak, coolant to leak past the seal on this water pump, because we don't want water at all out here in this area, because this is where our crankcase is. It would go down into our oil pan. It bleeds out right here through this orifice and goes into the engine block. I don't know if you can see this or not. So you see this here is where the wheat pole drains, and it goes right here and feeds out on the outside of the block behind the alternator. So that part is there, that wheat pole is there so that we can bleed off water outside of the engine without putting it into our oil pan, into our oil, mixing water into our oil. Well, the problem with that is that hole behind the alternator right there is a prime zone for dirt daubers. I've seen so many of them come in. The engine is slap full of Nestle chocolate milk because that wheat pole right there cannot exit, the water can't exit out of it. So it backs up into this chamber, then overflows and fills up into the crankcase. So guys, I'm telling you, if you got a 3.5, they're honestly pretty good engines. This is the biggest issue I see on them. I see a ton of these water pumps go bad. This one here was on its way out. The bearing, see, she's a real spinny. Wasn't actually leaking yet. This customer wanted to get ahead of it. That is something I would definitely recommend to you if you have a 150,000 mile 3.5. Getting a water pump put on it is very important, because you don't want that water entering your oil, because that is going to turn into something much major. Instead of a water pump, we're going to be replacing an engine. So yeah, 3.5 internally driven water pump. If you didn't know they had it, now you do.